I was married to my wife, Sarah, for 7 years. I thought our life was just ordinary until I realized there had long been no place for me in her heart. It all started so naturally that I didn't even notice. A pipe broke. I had just taken out my toolbox when she'd already sent a message. I have a friend who knows this stuff. He said he'll come right away. That friend was Mark, her coworker. I nodded and said nothing. Later, when the AC stopped cooling, the garage door jammed. Even when her car started making a weird noise, there was always the friend who happened to know how to fix it. That friend was always Mark. She started carrying worries she wouldn't share. A small setback at work would have her sighing on the couch, then picking up her phone and stepping out onto the balcony. When she came back, her brow would be relaxed again. I'd ask what was wrong. Nothing. Just talk to someone. I feel better. That someone wasn't her best friend. It was Mark. I began to notice things around the house being taken care of in advance. The yard sprinkler system had been optimized. I didn't know the password. Our internet plan had been upgraded. I stared at the bill forever before I understood it. When I asked Sarah why she hadn't discussed these things with me, she just shrugged. Impatient. Someone happened to know how to do it and helped out. What's there to talk about? Don't be so sensitive. I felt like I was living in a house that had already been programmed. I was just a tenant. The fatal blow came late one Wednesday night. At 2 a.m., a violent rush of water came from the upstairs bathroom. I jolted awake and ran up. A pipe connected to the water heater had burst, spraying water everywhere. I fumbled toward the main shutoff valve, water splashing into my eyes. In the chaos, I heard Sarah's voice, clear, panicked, and painfully familiar in a way I couldn't ignore. It was the tone of instinctive dependence, something that came out without thinking. Mark, a pipe burst at my place. The water's everywhere. Come quick. What do I do? She was standing right behind me, barefoot in the water, clutching her phone to her ear. She didn't even look at me. It never occurred to her to call my name. The world went quiet. All that remained was the roar of water and her ragged breathing into the phone. I turned and looked at her. My pajamas were soaked. I felt cold. She finally saw the look in my eyes. She hung up in a panic, her face drained of color. Jack. I was just scared. I dialed without thinking. Without thinking, I cut in. My voice was eerily calm. Who's on your first speed dial? Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Why isn't it me, Sarah? I asked. In your own home, when something goes wrong, why am I not your first instinct? She leaned against the slick wall, unable to answer. I'll never forget that expression. It wasn't guilt. It was the panic of being caught and the confusion of a broken habit. In the emergency contact sequence in her brain, I was no longer first. Mark was the default. I asked for a divorce. There was no fight. She stayed silent for days, then agreed. Maybe she thought it was time to promote the default option to something official. She went to Mark, looking for comfort, maybe even a promise. His response became the final straw that crushed her. Polite but clear. He told her he enjoyed the companionship, the feeling of being needed. He had never intended to take on the real responsibilities of a serious relationship. He didn't want to spend weekends fixing lawns, discussing school districts, or dealing with the messiness of a divorce. He was just an easy option outside her marriage. Nothing more. Sarah was stunned. She ran in both directions and ended up with nothing. The divorce moved quickly. Mark faded from her life just as quickly, blocked her, cut contact, as if he had never existed. The last time we met at the lawyer's office, she had lost a lot of weight. Her eyes looked hollow. She looked at me and said, I only understand now. I knew what she meant. The cruelest part of cheating isn't the physical betrayal. It's when, in the quiet routines of life, you replace the person who once had first choice. You turn me into a decoration in my own home, then expect someone who only ever wanted to be an option to take over your whole life. What a pity. Your default settings formatted our marriage, and in the end, erased your own way back too. I signed my name and walked out. The sunlight outside was almost blinding. In my phone's contact list, the emergency contact field was finally empty too. But that's okay. I can fill it in slowly. At least this time, the choice is mine.